Reading informational texts, residential schools. Learning goal. I will identify the main ideas and supporting details in an informational text. Success criteria. I can identify the organizational structure of an informational text. I can scan headings to make predictions about content. I can identify the main ideas and supporting details in an informational text. I can demonstrate my understanding of an informational text in a Padlet. Before reading. Before reading, you will brainstorm the type of texts you have read that gives you information on a subject. Post your list in the following discussion forum. You should probably have about 5 to 10 types of texts that you have read that gives you information on a subject. Do not just brainstorm one informational text. Click on this link below to find the discussion forum. As you can see, it takes you right there. During reading. What are informational texts? Informational texts are writings that mainly give information on a topic. Examples include news reports, magazines, science or history books, autobiographies, and instruction manuals. The elements that are found in informational texts are maps, tables, timelines, visuals, captions, and an index at the end of a book. Review the following tips for reading informational texts. All of these tips, before, during, and after reading, were found in your Building Reading Skills presentation. This is all a review for you. Here are some examples of informational texts. You can see textbooks, you can see a news report, you can see a magazine, a timeline, a table, and an index. After reading, you will complete a KWL chart based on residential schools. If you've never completed a KWL chart includes information you know, want to know, and learned. That's what KWL stands for. Here is the KWL Residential Schools chart. On it you see I've already completed one example for you. So, under your Know section, you're going to brainstorm all you know about residential schools. You should know at least 5 to 10 things about residential schools. Right here I put residential schools were government institutions set up to destroy the Indian in the child. Want to know. The want to know includes 5 to 10 questions that you want to know about residential schools in Canada. One question that I've created are, how long were residential schools in existence for? Learned is where you put all the information you learned in the informational texts. So, Stephen Harper apologized to former students of residential schools on behalf of the federal government in 2008. This is what you might learn in an informational text. So, your first step is to complete the Know section. Brainstorm what you know already. Then you'll move on to your Want to Know section. Brainstorm a list of questions that you have about residential schools. Then, in order to complete the Learn section, you need to read an informational text. So, you will read the informational text, A History of Residential Schools in Canada. It's a news article by CBC News. As you can see, there are many subtopics in this text. What is a residential school? How many residential schools and students were there? What went wrong? And so forth. The best way to approach this informational text is to find the most important points in each subtopic. Once you've found the most important points in each subtopic, you will record them under your Learn section of your KWL chart. Once you've finished reading through your informational text and found information in each subtopic, as listed right here, then you can move on to presenting your information. Number 4. Finally, you will present your KWL in the class Padlet. As you can see, here is the class Padlet about residential schools. What do you know, want to know, and learned about residential schools? I've already completed some guiding posts for you. Right here is your informational text. Here is a apology from Stephen Harper that can also be included in your L section. Right here, we have a really quick video from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission about stories from residential schools. It's about 5 minutes long, and I highly suggest you read it because it will allow you to put more information in your Learn section of your KWL chart. We have a picture right here. You can feel free to add any pictures that you think relate to residential schools, and a welcome message from me right here. A welcome video. If you notice here, it does say know, want to know. Before you get started, brainstorm what you know. Create a post titled Know with your name and this information on it. Then brainstorm 5 to 10 questions you have about residential schools. Create a post titled Want to Know with your name and this information on it. In order to do this, you need to move to this button here to create a post. All you have to do is click it, and your new post comes up. Your title would be Know Shannon, which is my name. You need to make sure you include your first and last name in your title so that I can credit you for the work that you've done and assess you, not just the post. Under Write Something is where you'll actually put what you know about this topic. Then you will create another post titled Want to Know, and finally another post titled Learned. In total, you will have created 3 posts: Know, Want to Know, and Learned, all of them which include the title and your full name. Make sure you proofread each post that you have for spelling, grammar, and clarity, as you're being assessed on this as well. In the end, you do not need to submit anything. You really only need to complete the work by the set out due date of November 11th, and I will assess it on that day. Past that date, you will need to notify me that you've added to the Padlet through email so that I know to check and assess your work. That's all. Good luck.